I don't know who's here yet, but today is going to be a little bit chaotic. Let me see where we are. And it begins. So, hey, if you're here, say hi. Let me get on live here. Everything's a little chaotic this morning. Hey, I need you to go lay down. Crazy dog. All right, so live here. Hi, I don't know who's here, but oh Lord. Hey, I don't know how well this is gonna work this morning, to be frank. I moved that away and it doesn't seem to be helping. Okay, so if you're on YouTube, oh you guys, hi Siri. Can you see the front of my mat on the floor? I have this bar across the bottom and I don't know if you guys can actually see. So if you can just shout at me, that would be great. So it's crappy and windy and raining, so I can't get the dogs outside. And as you see, they're a little more active than normal. And that could be because I have work going on in my garage. So this will settle down, I promise. But you may occasionally hear that out there. Hopefully it won't be really loud or super annoying and just moments of it rather than something. But if you really need something this morning, that's going to be, hey, that's enough. Relax. Go. If you need something that's going to be really calm and relaxing, go to the website and find something else. Because I'm pretty much guaranteeing that this is not going to be super, super relaxed. They will calm down. I'll get them out of here. But just hey, terriers. You guys ever have terriers? Oh. Hey. No, that's enough. Go lay down. Hold on. Okay. I'm not kidding. All right. So just a couple of quick things. It's almost time to get started. Oh, that was my knee. Yeah, if you can see everything, just give me a shout. Make sure everything's okay. Just a couple of quick things. If you didn't see in the email, if you don't get my emails, I am back at LA Fitness Wednesday nights out in Lakewood Ranch at 7. And then, yeah, right. And then on Cortez, Saturdays at 11 a.m. and Sundays at 9:45 a.m. So if you are practicing with me in person, we're back a little bit. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but let's see. So I still will be here. I'm still on my website. So anytime you need yoga, you can find me, whether I'm in person or not so much. So today I just got a little bit of a nice little round of practice. Nothing fancy, nothing special. Again, try and tune out any shenanigans that go on around here. And you probably have shenanigans of your own at your house too. It's just the way it is when we're doing this. So listen to your body. And of course, like I say, if you want to take a different route from a pose, and that's where your body takes you, then go there, right? So let's get to the mat. We're gonna start seated. You guys can do it on my mat. That's fine. Go, go lay down. Go lay down for real. Go lay down. No. Let's go lay down. Come on, guys. Come on. Karma and Gola. No. Relax. Go lay down. Hop up on the couch. Oh. Yeah, I don't know you guys. I don't know. So, aligning the heels to the groin. Taking inner thigh rotation. And sitting upright on the pelvis, making sure that your belly is engaged so that it's easier to sit up tall. We won't be here terribly long, but of course you want to make sure that the pelvis is upright while we are here. Let your hands fall where they're most comfortable. Relax your shoulders. Go ahead and close your eyes. Drawing the awareness inward. And remember, when we really are inward and focusing on what is important, external stuff ideally doesn't bother us quite so much. So if there are distractions in your life or here, maybe we notice them less. And we notice them, but maybe they don't take us off of where we're focused. So begin to allow the breath to deepen. Eventually finding your nice full yoga breath. Staying connected to that breath no matter what else does or does not happen. Let's go ahead and add in a bit of nice gentle movement to begin here today. With an exhale, go ahead and drop your chin down to your chest. Let the back of the neck really stretch here. And then inhale as you lift your face up toward the ceiling. Keep the back of the neck nice and long. And then exhale, come back down again. Let's do it one more time, inhaling up. And then we'll bring our head back to the center. Take a nice big breath in here. And then exhale, turn your face to the right. As if you were looking over your shoulder, you can actually look over your shoulder or not. Coming back to the middle. Next exhalation, look to the left. Or just turn your face. Back to center again, inhaling. Over to the right again. This time let your chin roll toward the shoulder all the way down to the center of the chest. And then inhale, bring your head back up to neutral. Exhale, turn to the left. And again, let your chin roll on down to the center. Lifting back up to the middle, inhale. Let's exhale, drop the right ear over toward the right shoulder. Just let your head hang. Let it be heavy here. And then if you want a little extra stretch, you can take your left hand and reach away from the body, finding that stretch down the shoulder, down the arm. How far down your arm can you feel that? Coming back to the center on an inhale. And then switch, let your head drop over to the left. Again, just letting it be heavy and relaxed. Stretching the right hand away if you want a little bit more. With an inhale, bringing your head back up to center here. Stretching both arms out. With that next inhalation, bring the arms up to the top together when your breath is full, and then back down to the sides. Exhale. Let's do it again. One more time. Back out to the top. Inhale. And then exhale your right hand back to the mat. Give yourself a little tip over to that right side. Draw the left shoulder back. Maybe look up at your left fingertips. Take a nice big breath. And then inhale, make your way back up to the center. Exhaling over to the left. Shoulders drawn back. Filling through the right side ribs here. And then back up to the center. Inhale. We'll do it one more time on each side, so take it right. See if you can get a little extra stretch wherever you were before. Back to center on the inhale, and over to the left. One more time. Take that nice, big, deep stretch, opening out the side ribs. And then back up to center. Exhale to release the arms. Let's bring the left hand to the right knee. Right hand behind the back. Little baby twist, nice and gentle to begin. Sitting upright, relax your hips, relax your shoulders. Keep those nice big breaths going. And then release that, coming back to the center, switching sides. Releasing, back to the middle. Let's take that first side again. So left hand back to the right knee. Press into your right arm, sitting a little taller, and then pull against the knee. Rotate the belly button. Turning the side ribs back, draw the shoulder back. Look over your shoulder. See if you can sit taller. And yet still breathe big into the lungs here. Let's release that, coming back to center. Take your second side. Same idea, use your arms, work around a little bit deeper, a little bit more even through the spine. And then let's come back to the middle. So come around onto your hands and knees. Placing the wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Make sure you're even on the four corners of your hands. Belly's pulled in, of course. So then on an inhale, take the belly toward the floor, shoulder blades pulled together and the bone sticks out. Exhale, reverse that. Tuck your tailbone under, bring your chin towards your belly button. And then just flow between those two. Inhaling as you lift. Exhaling as you round. Take a few more flows, working into your spine. Once more like that in each direction. And then just find the middle again. So nice and even, belly's in, right? From here, instead of being in this tabletop position, we're gonna move into a kneeling plank. So hands forward or knees back, however you need to make that happen. So, but the spine stays exactly as it was. We don't wanna sink through, we don't wanna press away. Trying to have the hips in line with the knees and shoulders. Hands are still nice and even, so we've got this little kneeling plank here. You can get fancy and take a full plank, but we're gonna play around a little bit. So let's go ahead and take the left foot over to the left side of the mat. That knee is still on the floor, rotating so that your right foot is at the back of the mat. The right hand can come to the hip, it can extend up toward the ceiling, and it can be here. But let's play with this a little bit if you'd like. Maybe lift your right foot up off the floor, make that a little bit more challenging. Let's take the right hand and working with the breath on an exhale, take your hand and weave it between the body and the floor, reaching behind you. And then inhale, lift it back up again. So we're gonna exhale, thread through. Inhale, reach back up. Do that one more time here. Back up to the ceiling. And then let's release that, come back to your kneeling plank. So from here, do the exact same thing on the second side. So this right foot over to the right side of the mat, opening the body to the left. So the left foot's at the back. You're in a nice straight line here. Draw the head to that left foot, yeah? And again, if you want to get fancier, lovely, lifting the leg, lifting the arm, working with the breath as you thread through. Exhale. Inhale, reach back up. Again. One more time like that. And then back into your kneeling plank. So go ahead and sit the hips back, come into a child's pose, and just take a little mini break because we're going to work with those kneeling planks again. So once more, come on back to your kneeling plank. It's going to be more than once, but you know. So belly's in, spine is in this neutral position, shoulders are back. Here, keeping the four corners of the hands engaged, go ahead and bend your elbows back to your thigh ribs, and then hover in the middle. So your arms hug into the sides of your ribs. Push back up, and then sit back. Let's come forward, kneeling plank. Bend into the elbows, hug tight to your sides, hover here for just a breath, and then back up and into your child's pose again. So one more time for this, back into kneeling plank. Bend into the ribs, hover in the middle, take a breath. This time come down. So all the way down to the belly. Hands are still next to the side ribs. And we want to hug those elbows in as if they were still hugging the ribs themselves, and they're a little bit off of that now. So work with your breath here. On an inhale, pull your shoulders up by your ears, together on your back, down toward your hip bones, and then exhale, release back down to the belly. So inhale as you roll up, exhale back down. And as you move into the shoulders, see if you can get a little bit more mobility with each breath. Take a few more. And then just rest down on your belly. So we're looking to get as much mobility in the shoulders as you can, and then we add in for the true lifting idea, right? So the hands are next to the side ribs, the elbows are gonna hug toward each other. The tailbone turns toward the floor to keep the lower back hydrated. This one we're gonna hold. So let's do the shoulders again, roll them up, together, and down toward the hip bones. You got a little bit of a lift, of course, but let's use the arms. So pull with your hands like you're pulling your belly button forward. Keep the shoulders back, the elbows in, and then press into the hands a bit to come up a bit higher. So the arms are working, the shoulders are working, your belly's probably working. Yeah, you're breathing. Come on back down and release. Resting for just a moment. And then the really fun part is to move up the way we came down. So we're going to press into the knees just enough to barely lift the pelvis up off the floor. You don't want to lift your butt too high, but we want to make sure it's not dragging on the floor either. So keep the elbows in. We're going to press up into the hands, lift the chest, come into this halfway twist. Hold for half a breath, and then all the way up, sit back into your child's pose. Allow the arms to relax for a second here. If it's better to have them back by your heels, you can have them back by your heels. Let your shoulders rest. And then back up, this time, into all fours. So back into that tabletop position. From here, we want to let's take the left hand, palm up, we're going to leave it underneath here, dropping down to maybe the elbow, or all the way down to the shoulder. And then your head can rest on the floor. If it won't come to the floor, take your trusty prop, and you can set your head on that if that's where you need to be, right? And again, the elbow is absolutely fine. It does not have to be any bigger of a deal than that. And you can get in a nice little twist here. It can stay as simple as that, or you can start pressing more into the hands. So if you press more into your right hand, you can point your elbow more toward the ceiling, press into the left arm and kind of pull against the floor. You feel how your belly can turn a little bit that way? So that takes the twist a little deeper. Staying even on the knees so the hips stay level here. You can keep the hand on the floor. Or you can extend this right arm up toward the ceiling. Keep the shoulder drawn back. The shoulder is where the twist comes from. So if you let the shoulder fall forward, it doesn't matter where the hand goes, right? So take your time, listen to your body, find the twist that's appropriate for you. Let's take another nice big breath. And then release that twist, bring yourself back into your all fours. And we'll switch sides. So take the right hand, palm up, with underneath, elbow or shoulder, all the way down to the mat. And then you decide how fancy to get. So you've already got a twist. If you press into the hands, you get a little bit more of a twist. Stay even on your knees, making sure your spine feels long and neutral. You're not leaning on your head. The head is resting on the floor, not leaning. And then we release that and make our way back into our all fours. So let's go ahead and take that child's pose one more time. Stretch the arms out long in front. Come up on the finger pads. So the heel of the hand is lifting. We're gonna walk the fingers forward a little bit more, maybe. Can you get a little extra stretch? See if you can pull your shoulder blades together on your back without them really coming up to your ears, right? Just opening the armpits, essentially. I had an instructor who would say hollowing the armpits, if that makes sense to you. And then keep that idea and plant the four corners of the hands again. So that may give you a little bit of extra stretch in the arms and the upper chest and the upper back, maybe. And then from there, let's go ahead and make our way to down dog. So let yourself just move and stretch, getting into the lower body a little here, finally. And then allow yourself to begin to ground in. So moving into the four corners of the hands, push away from the floor to give yourself that extra stretch here instead of reaching away. So the shoulders are in that same position. Sinking into your heels. Get that nice stretch through the backs of the legs. And then keep everything as you have it here. So really press in, belly's pulled in. We're gonna lift the right leg away from the floor. Keep the hips square. And see if you can press through the right heel more and feel a bigger stretch in your left leg. It's very weird, but that's how it works. And then we're gonna release the right foot and switch sides. So lift the left leg. And extend out through both heels, really. But really, when you feel that left heel reach away, you get that bigger sensation in the right leg. Release the left foot. And then let's take the feet and walk up to the hands. Find a standing fold. Feet hip bone distance apart. Let yourself just walk in place a little bit here and moving a little deeper into our legs as you're ready. And then find the four corners of your feet, nice and even into the mat here. We're gonna bend the knees enough so that the belly touches the thighs. So you may have to bend a lot or a little, whatever. Take your arms and wrap them behind your legs.
So around the knees-ish area. And we want to hug in, so the belly is really connected to the thighs here. From there, see if you can take your legs a little straighter. Wherever they go straighter, does not necessarily mean straight, but maybe it does. Let your head hang. Keep hugging in, belly to thighs. And then release the arms. Let's go ahead and take those fingers and interlace the hands with back. So if you still want your knees to be bent, you absolutely can have that here. Straight is fine as well, either way. Hug the shoulder blades together on the back and stretch your hands away from the shoulders so that the hands may or may not lift off the lower back, but that's really not the goal. The idea is to pull the shoulder blades together and stretch the fingertips away. So you may even feel like your neck gets longer. It doesn't, but you may feel like that. So let's take one more nice big breath. And then release the hands. We're going to go ahead and take the legs straight. So if you don't touch your toes, don't panic, bring your hands up to your thighs anyway. Come halfway up on an inhale and bring the upper body parallel-ish to the floor. Belly's in, supporting the back. The shoulders are back. You're breathing. And then on an inhale, hinge all the way up, hinging from that hip joint. Standing at the top of the mat. So from here, take the hands on either side of the lower back. Just for support, you can change them if you feel like you don't need them here. It's fine. Hug the elbows toward each other. Pull the shoulder blades toward each other. So just like we did, and open the chest. Then think lifting the chest up toward the ceiling, so you're creating some space and you can move into this little back bend. And again, if you're ready and able and all of that, you can definitely open up into a little bit bigger stretch. You can maybe interlace your fingers behind your back like we had before. If you need the support with your hands on the back, but certainly keep them there. Keep lengthening your spine. That includes your neck. Try not to let your head fall back. Take one more big breath. And then we're going to hinge back up nice and gentle. Release the hands from wherever they are. Hands come to the thighs. Let's fold into that half fold again. So parallel-ish to the floor. Bend into the knees. Go ahead and sit back into a supported chair for a second. Knees, toes, and hip bones in that same alignment, right? If you feel like your butt's sticking out, tuck it under. Keep the belly engaged. See if you can sink deeper into your legs. Stay nice and even in the four corners of your feet. And you can have the hands from center. You can extend them. They can stay supporting on your thighs if that's where you need to be. Make sure you're breathing. And then with an inhale, stretch to the ceiling. Exhale, release the arms. So let's go ahead and take a nice big step back with the right foot. We're in a straddle. So the toes are pointing forward here. Belly's pulled in, the hands are going to start at the hips. Hug the elbows toward each other, just so the chest stays open and the shoulders stay down and back where they belong. Not back bendy, but not sinking, right? So we're going to come back over into the half fold. And if you feel like you need support on the thighs, then just absolutely lean there. Keeping the spine nice and long. And then holding here, if this is your full fold, you're done. If you have a little bit deeper fold, go ahead and let yourself sink into that. And just like we did before, let your head hang. See if you can feel a release all the way up your spine. And then of course your hamstrings are stretching as well. Shoulders are back. Keep the shoulders back. Keep that idea of that lengthening in the spine. And allow your hands to move toward the mat. If they don't, you can rest them on the shins or a block, wherever. Doesn't matter where they go. Go ahead and bend into your knees if you need to. Take the index and middle fingers, wrap them around your big toes. Staying even on the four corners of the feet. Elbows out. Pulling the shoulder blades together a little bit on the back, keeping the spine long. And then maybe a little pull on the toes to deepen your stretch. I love you guys. Cool now. And then release the toes. Take the fingers to interlace behind your lower back again. Shoulders pull closer toward each other. Hands still stretch away. So yes, maybe up off of your lower back, maybe not so much, but away from your shoulders. Find that space and length. Release the hands. Okay. So we're going to keep the weight in the feet the way it is, right? Take your hands and stretch them forward as if you were going into down dog. So the hands are shoulder width apart. Go ahead and ground the palms into the floor. And again, here, let your hips sit, well, not back exactly, because they're still just nice and even into the four corners of the feet. So the weight is still balanced properly. Take the arms, stretch them longer. Maybe even come up on the finger pads like we did earlier, that little trick. Stretch away a little bit more, shoulders pull closer together, even if that little trick worked for you before, it might work here. Find that extra stretch in the arms. And then we're gonna walk those hands right back in. Bring them up to the thighs or the hips. Thighs if you need the support, of course, belly's in. We're gonna come halfway up and hold, squeeze those hamstrings. Stay even on your feet. And then let's inhale, come all the way up. Release the hands and step back to the top of the mat. Right. So here, let's go ahead and take a short step back with that right foot. And this time the toes are all 10 of those toes are gonna point toward the top of the mat. So it may feel a little bit unsteady, uneven on your feet. If you need to open them a little bit wider sideways to make it easier, open them sideways. So then bend into the left knee without the right heel coming up off the floor. That's why that shorter stance works a little bit better, but you can adjust it, of course. Hands to the hips. You may notice that if your toes turn out, this hip will drop back, yeah? Keep them pointing forward so the hip can point forward. And then the hands can stay here or they can extend toward the ceiling. Relax your shoulders, maybe look up at your lifted hands, sinking into the legs, strong and even into your feet. From our warrior one here, let's open it up into warrior two. So those right toes are gonna point out now, and the arms are gonna come parallel to the floor. Your feet will probably move a little bit wider here. We wanna make sure you see just the left big toe beyond the left knee. And the left heel is in line with the right instep. So if you took that really wider stance, you may have to move your feet a little bit. So nice and even into the legs here. Bring the right hand to the back of the thigh. Left palm turning toward the ceiling, reach up. And then as if your fingers were interlaced again, draw your shoulder blades together on your back. That idea of lifting the chest up toward the ceiling here, opening up the front of the body. And then come back into your warrior two. And release them all and step back to the top of the mat. So that same little sequence on the second side. Excuse me. Short little step back with the left foot. All 10 toes point forward. And just kind of wiggle around. If you need them wider, you need them a little wider. Make sure the back heel stays grounded as you bend into the right knee. Hips are square, shoulders, and then the arms. Transitioning into that warrior two,
Open the left toes a little bit more to the side. Open the arms parallel to the floor. Check out your feet. Make sure you see your right big toe. The hips are level, the shoulders are level. Stretching through the fingertips. And then the left hand to the back of the thigh. Right palm turns toward the ceiling, reaching up. Drop that right shoulder back. And again, in your mind, interlace your fingers, draw the shoulder blades together, lift the chest. The arms are just reaching in different directions. We'll take one more breath. Back into that warrior two. And then step back to the top of the mat. All right, so let's take standing balance here, and we're gonna keep the feet simple because I'd like to try and keep that openness in the chest idea going on. So keeping the feet just in tree, and it doesn't even have to be as fancy as all of that, depending on where you are with your balance. You can, of course, move next to a wall just in case so you don't fall down if you need, right? So let's shift all the way over into the left foot. We're gonna lift the right leg, open at the knee, and then the foot comes in to maybe the ankle, maybe the calf, or maybe up into the inner thigh. But again, the idea is to open the chest. So if this is a little much, cut it back a little bit so that you're not super wobbly already. So normally we come front. Today, let's interlace the fingers behind. Draw the shoulder blades together. Let the chest open and lift. And the knuckles are gonna reach away from the shoulders, straight down the back, maybe a little bit up off of the lower back. But again, the idea is to open the chest as you're staying on one foot. So how far your hands move is really not terribly important. You can gaze up or keep your gaze level. Make sure you're breathing, and you're gonna wobble on the four corners. Don't worry about that. As long as you're not falling down, it's all good. Let's gently release the upper body and then your legs. And we'll work the second side. So again, change the position of your lifted leg, right? If you need to, certainly. So taking the weight over into the right foot, lift the left, opening, and then bringing that foot in. And sometimes it will fall, and a lot of times it wants to fall on the knee. Avoid the knee. So hugging the legs in, challenge yourself as much or as little as you need with the legs so that we can open the chest. So hug in, tuck the tailbone down, fingers interlacing. Draw the shoulder blades toward each other, lifting the chest. And changing the gaze can be really challenging. So maybe that's just not ready, or you're not ready. Listening to your body, making sure you're breathing. Spine feels long. And then let's gently release that. Planting the feet. With an inhale, stretch the arms up. And then exhale, take yourself over to fold. Nice and easy, all the way down, take your time. Let's step our feet back, moving into down dog. Drop on down into a child's pose. Take just a little transition here. From this child's pose, we're going to slide forward out onto the belly. All right, so we're going to work with locust while we're here. While you're on the belly, make sure that you stay pressing into the pelvis so that the tailbone stays turning down towards your heels. If this is super uncomfortable here, you may need to skip it if you tend to pinch up your lower back when you lay on your belly. So just do what's right for you here for sure. We're going to take the arms, we're going to start with just the arms. So
So taking the arms down by the sides, you can interlace the fingers again, right? Same idea here. We want to press down into the pelvis, but we also here want to press down into the tops of the feet. So let's roll into our shoulders, pull them up by the ears together on the back, down toward the hip bones, and you get that little lift like we did in our little baby cobra earlier, right? Only now you don't have any arms to help you. So it's all your shoulders, your belly, your back, your breathing. And then we're going to release that back down. Go ahead and take your hands and make a little pillow for your head, stacking your palms. Rest either your forehead or your chin on your pillow, just so your head stays in a neutral position here. So the upper body gets to rest. Then we're just going to work with the legs. So spread your toes really wide. If you tend to cramp here, ideally spreading the toes wide helps. We want to extend through the big toe. Feel the muscles in the legs kind of kick in there. Keep that, and then keeping the legs straight, use your hamstrings to lift your legs away from the floor. So of course your glutes are going to kick in, but if you feel just your butt, stop and start over. Make the legs do at least part of the work. And then release them back down. So let's put it together. Take the arms down by the sides. And your choice, of course, is to interlace your fingers behind your back. Pelvis presses down, tailbone stays pointing down toward the bottom of your mat. Let's roll the shoulders, curling the chest away from the floor. Extend through the big toes, and let's lift the legs. Remember, if it's just your butt squeezing, engage as evenly as you can, and it's usually really hard to just release your glutes. So maybe starting over, if that's what's going on there. Let's take one more nice big breath. If you're rocking with your breath a little bit, that's okay. Let that happen. And then release it down. Make a little pillow for your head with your hands. Then you can rest your chin or your cheek. Turn the toes to point toward each other, and then just kind of rock back and forth on your hips. Ideally, the lower back does not do all of the work, but sometimes it wants to. So let's just release the spine. Coming back to center. Taking the hands next to the side ribs. Hug the elbows in, and we're gonna lift up just like we did the last time from the floor, so super fun. Press into the knees, barely lift the belly, and then press into the hands, come into that halfway place, elbows in line with the ribs, and then we're gonna lift all the way up. Nice and easy here. Go ahead and sit back, child's pose. Let's come to sit up on the heels. And if this is not a happy place, don't worry about it. We're just stretching shoulders. So if you need to move into a seated position, or if you want to prop up on a block, totally fine, wherever you want to be with that. So coming to sit up nice and tall here. Let's just stretch our shoulders because they've been doing a lot for us today. Taking the left arm out, right, elbow bent, fingers pointing up at the ceiling. Bring that arm in front of the body, and then take the right arm underneath. Weave the right hand between the face and this left hand. And maybe your fingers can catch the left hand. Let's say I'll get all twisted. I can't remember what is left and what is right anymore. So try and relax into your shoulders. And if this is just super weird and awkward, you can grab your opposite shoulder. Right? And then it makes a little bit more sense again sometimes. See if you can stack your elbows. And then you may be able to interlace your fingers at that point. Maybe not still, don't worry about it. Relax down into your shoulders. Keep the shoulders down. See if you can lift your elbows. And then play with your hands, maybe further from your face or a little closer to your face. See where you need to stretch there. Let's release the arms. And of course you have to switch sides. So take the right arm out and bring that arm in front. The left arm under between. And again, maybe your palms come perfectly together here. Maybe this just doesn't even seem like it should work. In my brain, I don't get how this works, but unless your arms are really, really thin. So adjust, right? Not everything is the same on every body, right? And so the elbows stack-ish. Maybe again, the fingers will catch at that point, and still maybe not, and it's still okay. But the shoulders rest down. Maybe the elbows lift, maybe the hands move away or closer to the face. Just kind of play. And if you tend to carry a lot of tension in your shoulders, this can be a really amazing stretch for back there. We're going to take one more breath. And then let's release the arms and just kind of roll them around a little bit. And from here, make your way around onto your bottom with the legs extended. Take your inner thigh rotation, of course. So the legs are extended, straight. Toes are pointing out toward the ceiling. Feet are in line with the hip bones, yeah. Belly is pulled in here. And let's go ahead and inhale, lift up. Hinging forward from the hip. When you can't hinge forward, let your hands fall. Keeping the shoulders back and the spine as neutral as it was when you were upright. Nice big breaths. And then we can inhale, let's make our way back up again. And release the arms. So bring the soles of the feet together. Pull the heels in toward the body. Sit up nice and tall. See if you can use your elbows at your inner hips. You want to gently press it down. And make sure you're at the inner hip rather than the knee. From here, you can hinge forward a little bit, bringing your belly button towards your heels. And then hinge it back up. Stay hanging onto your ankles. Keep your spine really tall, your shoulders back. Lean back and balance. So here, use your belly less than your arms. And imagine that you're holding the legs up just using your arms, and you can get this really nice stretch down the outsides of the shoulders here. Feel that? And then re-engage your belly, make that do more of the work. And instead of having the soles of the feet together here, let's bring the knees together. I'm gonna squeeze those knees together like crazy. You can hang on for sure. Open your knees and then squeeze the soles of the feet together. If you need to be hanging on, you can absolutely, or maybe outside of the legs. Yeah. Bring the knees back together, give them a squeeze. And then open the knees, squeeze your feet. Let's do that one more time. Knees. And then feet. Hang back onto your ankles if you're not ready. And instead of lifting the chest, go ahead and C-curve your spine and you'll pretty much automatically fall back. Controlled, I hope. Right? Rolling down to your back. Go ahead and keep the soles of the feet together here and let them come to the floor. Rest the knees out to the sides. Release your belly, your back, your head. It should feel nice. And then we'll bring the knees back together. So with the feet flat on the floor, take a second and make sure you feel even across your hips and your shoulders. Spine is neutral. And then from here, extend the right leg straight up toward the ceiling. And we want to keep the spine just like it was when the right foot was on the floor. From there, you can take your fingers and interlace behind your right thigh. If you have a strap, you can use a strap. Keeping your backside just as it is. With an exhale, pull that right leg in a little bit closer, and then inhale and let it go a little bit. So exhale as you draw toward you, and inhale as you release. And you're just gonna go like that, in and out, and see how the body wants to compensate for the hamstring, right? Your pelvis may tip up, right? The tailbone pointing more toward the ceiling, or sometimes that right hip wants to lift a little bit. So you can keep it really, really neutral. Let's go once more. And then find center. So the spine is neutral here. The leg is as high as it can be, right? If you can go more than just above the hip, that's fine. But again, the spine being neutral is the more important part. So let's extend the left arm out to the left, glue that side of your body to the floor, support the outside of your right leg with your hands, and let it fall out to the right, just before the place where your left hip starts to lift. So go slow. And you'll notice when the weight starts to shift more to the right than the left. Find the middle. And touching the floor is not the goal, right? Feeling this really big stretch in the inner right hip. Or maybe you're feeling your hamstring a little bit more on the inside. It's all good. Let the leg fall into the hand, but see if you can take your right leg nice and straight. Flex your foot. And if you want more sensation, rather than worrying about touching the floor, imagine rotating your toes toward the floor and rotating your heel toward the ceiling. So that's where you can give yourself a little extra without lifting the left hip and sacrificing that. So let's bring that back to center. And then release the right leg. Switch to the left side. So again, really neutral with the spine here, and then the same idea, the left leg is going to lift. Reaching behind the thigh, using your strap if you need. Exhale, pull that leg a little closer to the body, and then inhale, release. In and out. Doesn't have to be big movements. Take it slow so you can feel the subtle shift of the body. And then find that neutral place. Right? So it's a stretch, but it's not a giant stretch. Take the right arm out to the right, glued to the floor. Support the outside of the leg with the left hand as you open it out to the left. Keep the right hip even on the mat. Let the leg fall into the hand here so that inner hip can release. And then once you found that place, you can make it a little bit more challenging, right? So flexing the foot more, maybe rotating the toes toward the floor and the heel toward the ceiling, feeling it all in that inner hip and hamstring. Take another big breath. And then bring it back to center. Release the left foot. So let's open both arms out into our T position here. We're going to pick the hips up, take them over to the right side of your mat. Let your knees fall over to the left. So relax your shoulders back. Let your legs just relax to the side. You can get fancy here by crossing your legs or taking one or both legs straight. Any little variation you want, of course.
You are doing your thing. And then we'll gently bring it back to center. Take your second side. So if you modified in one way or another on the first side, see if you can match that. Ideally doing the same thing. And if you do have a tight side or a weaker side, literally, not just strong and weak idea, feel free to linger longer. Whether you're, say, working it and making your muscles work, or whether you need a little extra time in the stretch. Just listen to what your body needs. One more big breath. Let's come on back to center. When you're there, draw the knees into your chest and rock. And then we're going to squeeze those knees into the chest as tight as we can. Bring the arms maybe across the shins even, drawing the forehead toward the knees, rounding through your spine. Let's release that out into a full body stretch. Fingertips to toes, use every muscle for one last little moment here. And then let's release the stretch. Let your arms come down by your sides and make your way to Shavasana. So wherever your body is going to be most comfortable, whether that's laying flat, feet flat, seated meditation, wherever it is you need to be. And you can always prop here, using the wall, using your blocks, sitting on a cushion. Once you've found that place, allow the body to relax there, stilling the muscles. Staying focused on the breath without controlling it, so that the mind has something to do without really doing anything. Allow the mind to stay focused here, nice and quiet. Give yourself just a few minutes to rest. Slowly draw in a deep, cleansing breath, and then let that go. Bringing back small movements of the body first, wiggling and stretching. When you're ready, taking the feet flat to the floor, gently roll to your side and just pause there in a fetal position. Keep your eyes closed and mind quiet. And then gently pressing into the hands, bringing yourself back up to seated. Sitting well and tall. Let's bring the palms to touch. Bowing your head to your heart. From my heart to yours. Namaste. Thanks for playing today, you guys. It started a little chaotic, and hopefully Shavasana was peaceful enough to counter it all. So yeah, I will see you here next week. As always, if you have any questions, any tips, any requests, I am more than happy to respond. Hi guys. So, Diane, thank you so much. Thank you. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Maybe the sun will come out for us. Bye. Thanks, Liz. Sheila. Oh, hey, Sheila.